And we're doing a heart series. And we're going to start in half butterfly. What? So it's just like Jana Shavasana. You're going to stretch your right leg out, left heel in, about 90 degrees between your thighs. And this time we're just going to go straight down the center. So it's a variation. This is more half butterfly than Jana Shavasana. Starting here. Coming right down the middle. So yeah, 90 degrees between your thighs. So you can probably bring your thigh in a little bit maybe. And just, you don't need to force anything, just surrender and bow forward here, and then let time and softness do the work instead of trying to quickly and aggressively get there. In our first pose, just notice how things are. We can hear the wind howling through our lovely thin windows. Dawn is breaking. Notice if your body feels tired or sore. Notice how your energy is. How your feelings fit together in this equation. And then inhale, roll up and turn your belly over your extended legs. So maybe a little soft, more like a Hawaiian dance, a little hula. Or maybe you're more of a belly dancer. And then bow over your extended leg. Notice how your feelings go together with your thinking this morning. Maybe noticing if you can remember your dreams or if they're still lingering. Infinite stars, infinite space, source of the knowledge of the worlds, giver of thoughts that empower creation, transforming light into the elements of matter. Radiate before my mind the 7 keys that unlock the doors of the mystery temple, so I may enter and fulfill the purpose for which my birth initiates. We can easily get fixated on the tangible, the thing right in front of our eyes, the manifest, the stuff. But in our practice, bringing ourselves back to the context of worlds, of purpose, allows us to ever gently keep directing ourselves back to task. With your inhale, roll up. Place your left hand behind you and just stretch your right side. And let your hips come back down. Little drama, change your legs. Have about 90 degrees between your thighs. So it's not a super wide stretch. And first we start by going down the middle. Bowing your head, softening. So we learn about having fingerprints that can identify us. We've now learned also that, the pattern in our eyes can identify us. Less utilized for identity, maybe in the future, we shall see, is that we actually have a unique heartbeat. So that in all the humans on the earth right now, like the different snowflakes, we have a unique heartbeat. There's no two the same. And with your inhale, roll up, and another little soft, maybe you do your more rhythmic this time. Or you can do the soft hula movements. And then bow over your gorgeous left leg, or the leg that's left. Why has such diligence been taken that each one of our heartbeats must be unique? I mean, I guess we could ask this about our fingerprints and our irises too. But we know the esoteric path is really about this, revealing exactly what is you to be, your purpose in the world, your task in the world, what you were born to do here on earth. We have this lofty aim to be ourselves, and there's no blueprint for it. There's no directives to follow, or 12 steps to unraveling your true identity. But all the practices we do give us an opportunity to know ourselves better. And then each human that we meet, we have this kind of mutual agreement that we both have an opportunity to be more ourselves in that meeting. And you'll notice how we go, oh yeah, like you think of your husband, or you think of your kids, or you think of, really big, important roles in your life and how they've changed you. Great. But it's even meeting the stranger on the street. There's an opportunity as well. In confrontation, in collaboration, and probably 1,000 different other ways. Inhale, roll up. Place your right hand behind you and then stretch through your whole left side of your body. Maybe you have some morning groans. And then bring your hips back down. And we're going to come into Virajana, hero's pose. And we don't often actually stay seated here, but today we will. Sit in between your heels if that's accessible for you. If not, you can always sit on your heels. You can also sit on a blanket or a block or some books if you need to. And you can just relax your hands on your knees together. You want to, whatever feels comfortable for your hands, but you want to sit upright. And in our yin practice, it's totally appropriate to close your eyes. Not to dream necessarily, but to notice, to stay present, to observe. In our unique complexity, we have this incredible situation where a lot happens below the surface of our awareness. So it's so cool that we can breathe without having to remember to, that we can do it while we're asleep. You know, that our heart knows where to take the nutrient rich and oxygen saturated blood. We don't have to direct it. Our liver knows exactly when to work hardest. And our stomach knows what to do with food we give it. And the spleen, if you've been paying attention. For a lot of us, this is kind of a given that this happens below our consciousness. And it's only when it's not working and we're suffering the pain of it not working well that we really contemplate our inner organs. And then we have this whole realm above our unconsciousness, this place of wakefulness. Our thinking, our feeling, our decisions, you know, we notice them, we can see them, we can follow them. We react, we create. So we can make this very, you know, this analogy of in our body, we're actually kind of asleep. And in our wakefulness, awake in our observation, in our consciousness. But it's this middle realm where not only in our body do we house all of these complex functions that happen without our explicit wakeful attention, but then there's this in-between realm of our own unconsciousness. The things that we carry that we're not awake to. The things that fuel our reactions, influence our biases, color our vision even, that we don't quite know where it comes from. And the cool thing with our unconscious is that there's things that can duck up. There's things that can suddenly appear seemingly out of nowhere that then, you know, kind of alert us to something, and we can investigate and discover new things. With your next inhale, open your eyes. And then we're going to turn probably lengthways on the mat to come into frog. Oh, the feelings. But first, move around a little bit. You might need to go through a downward facing dog or a wiggly downward facing dog, or just a tabletop sachet undulation, vibration. But then frog, when you're ready, you take your knees as far apart as they go. You line your hips up with your knees, and then you line your ankles underneath your knees and flex your feet. Beautiful. This is a great place to put a bolster underneath you. Do you want a yoga mat or a blanket pair? What's that? A blanket, yeah. But make the adjustments, find your frog. Classic to the pose is we usually stay there longer than you want to. Here you go. It's great. Textbook perfect. So part of our yoga practice in the tradition of Yogananda is really this self-realization, where not only is it discovering formerly hidden elements about yourself, but taking kind of initiative to shape and guide how we are becoming. This unconscious realm of ours contains the history of the world, or maybe even the history of the worlds. We have this picture really of, there's this picture of the Akashic records, which is the space that all kind of teachings are stored, the realm. In a similar kind of picture, just like how on Earth, the water that is here is the water that's always been here on Earth. Indigenous tribes, many of them talk about the memory of water, or the capacity water has to communicate. Even in our body, we are composed of such a high percentage of water that with that kind of cosmology alone, we have access to all secrets of the world through our connection to water. But we want to imagine, if we haven't already had direct experience, that in this unconscious realm, we are affected by all the beings around us. the elementals. It is the place where the dead can communicate us with us from, through, where the angelic realm has access. Take 10 full, unhurried breaths here. After your 10th breath, you just slide forward. Often it feels better when it's accompanied by some moaning and groaning. So, whether it's in our yoga practice or in our meditation practice, a large part of our practice is also what we do during the day, which is we direct our attention. After some wiggles and groans, you might return to your yoga mat. And we're going to move into Anahata Asana. So, very similar to frog, but big difference is that your knees stay underneath your hips, or your hips stay over your knees. And then you slide your arms forward, letting your chest sink down towards the ground. So, some Americanized changing of the names, as they call this, puppy dog. But Anahata Asana is the posture of the heart, the seat of the heart, one can say even. Asana means seat. Now, when we talk about, all of these wonderfully unique humans, maybe you thought of, full grown people, but even as a young baby coming into this world, we are already unique. And when you observe how a baby interacts and how much connection you can actually feel to a wee one, it is a really beautiful example of what we want to continue to do for the rest of our lives. And this is how much our attention lands like a gift for the baby. Yeah. So I have a habit of, whenever I see babies, I like to, look at them and smile at them. And it's the best feeling in the world if a little baby kind of like, you see their eyes light up, or they smile, or they just can't stop watching you. Because this attention that they already have so early on is so pure and unadulterated. It can really make you feel like you've got kind of an energy boost. We talk about like baby therapy, even just, carrying a baby for a while, or hanging out with a baby, sniffing their head, or best yet, ever letting a baby fall asleep on you. But what you notice is that this pure attention is life confirming, is energizing, both for the child, the baby, and for you. That our communication, just the root of our communication, comes before the words, comes before the specifics. And this root of the gift of attention doesn't go away. We just become less skilled with it as we gain language and ideas and opinions and biases and judgments. With your next inhale, allow your body to slide forward, coming to rest. You can wiggle your hips or move around a little bit if it helps temper the sensations in your body. And then with your next inhale, you're going to lift up either into Sphinx or Seal, or it could be a Seal Sphinx. So in between the two with a bolster or blanket underneath your forearms. With a blanket, you can kind of adjust how much you want to lift it up. Now, this lesson that we learn in attention with children is something that's actually really useful to meet people from all walks of life. This quality of just allowing your attention without your judgment, without your assumptions, to stay with some other human being for a while is what most humans are striving for, to be seen or to be heard. Without a need for them to change. And this is especially true of human beings that have been marginalized, who find themselves at the fringe of society, at the edges of our community. Whether it is the houseless person on the street, a special needs person in an institution. And everywhere in between, especially at these, these edges. So where, a lot of the houseless population in this world came there through poverty, but it's not just. There's something that, for instance, a lot in the US, a lot of the houseless population are veterans. And I just recently was listening to a conversation that Orland was having with, of all places, the art department in Malmo University, just this January, where he went on to say that there is, especially for these veterans, but for a lot of these people who actually don't manage to play the game of getting a job and checking all these boxes and getting a house and stuff like that. A lot of them are veterans too, so quite literally have been through war. But a lot of really poor people who've grown up in communities that are equally unsafe have the similar trauma as being through war. And that rather than choosing to stay completely annexed and divorced from the earth in a house with warmth, with electricity, with beds, sometimes, all sorts of different chemicals and materials between the human being and the earth, that some of these people really actually choose to sleep on the ground because the earth has a healing effect for the human being. That part, for many, the mission is actually returning to what is most essential about being human, and knowing and having this wisdom that it is vital that we are in contact with nature. It is vital that we see the stars, that we experience darkness. That we feel the rain and we feel and let the wind blow towards us or through our hair or whatever. That completely armoring ourselves against the elements deprives us of a connection between this earth, the whole earth, and our health, our well-being, our sense of belonging and importance. Now to come out of the pose, maybe lift up just a little bit, activating, and then lay down on your forearms again, or you lay on your body. You can rest your head on your forearms. And our next posture is a yang posture. You're going to bring your hands underneath your shoulders and push yourself back to your knees. And then you're going to stand as tall as you possibly can on your knees. And we do one Ustrasana here. So, camel pose. You might be sleepy, that's fine. Don't have to wake up too much. Just bring your hands to your lower back. You can turn your fingers up if you really want to remind yourself to have lots of space in your lower back. And then you're going to keep tucking your tails, your hips slide forward in front of your knees if possible. And then lift up tall with your exhale, drop your head back. Now, for some people, it's fine to keep their hands here at their lower back for the whole posture. Or maybe you have a little bit more back bend and you can drop your hands down to your heels. If you're holding your heels, you want to hold so strongly that you can thrust your hips more forward, that if you were to let go of your heels, you'd like flip open here. or roll forward if you hold on too much. Yeah. Now stick out your tongue, look at your third eye, and with a whisper, roar like a lion. So then you're a camel lion. And then inhale, lift up with a little suave move. If you don't have a hairy chin, wipe off your chin. And then bring your feet out in front of you. Maybe another little homage to the hula dance. Lower yourself down to the ground. Nice. And then hug your knees to your chest. And let's do a twisted root twist this morning. So bring your right knee over your left knee. Maybe your right toes curl all the way around your left calf. And then slide your butt cheeks to the right and let your knees drop to the left, keeping your knees as high as your hips if possible. Your gaze can go straight up to the ceiling, or you can look to your right. Take a full breath in, and with your exhale, just sigh it out. I'm going to read a Steiner verse, and I'm going to attempt it in German first, and then I'm going to read you the translation with a little added modern twist. Des Lichtes Weben Wesen, es erstrahlt von Mensch, zu fühlen alle Welt mit Wahrheit. Der Liebe Segen, erwärmt die Seele an der Seele. Zu wirken alle Welten Seligkeit und Geistesboten, sie vermahlen der Menschen Segenwerke mit Weltenzielen. Und wenn vermahlen kann die beiden, der Mensch, der sich im Menschen findet, es strahlt geistliches Licht durch Seelenwärme. The weaving essence of light rays forth from human to human to fill the world with truth. Love blessings, warmth, soul by soul, to call forth bounty of all worlds. And angel beings, they unite with our deeds of blessing with world aims divine. And when we, wielding both, behold ourselves in spirit man, then light of spirit rays through warmth of soul. What I hear in Steiner's verse is the same call to how our attention can be between each other. When we are truthful, attentive, and bring warmth or love to this attention, then our human destiny is world destiny. They are tied together, they go together. Bring both your knees back to center. Unwind your legs and rewind your legs, or wind them again, because you can't go back. You can never go back. Maybe your toes spin around your calf, and then slide your hips, your butt to your left, and let your knees drop to the right. This quality that each one of us brings, like our heartbeat, like our fingerprints, like our eyes, has a uniqueness to it. That when you direct your attention, you're bringing something new into the world. Where does your attention come from? It comes from you. It is part of your source, the divinity in you. No one else can give your attention. So, in the purity of attention, we have this possibility of love. Because, like how a baby pays attention, how we pay attention to babies too, it's unadulterated. It's just pure attention. And I don't know about you, but I can fall in love so easily in that place where you can experience your love for another human being without them saying a word, without you saying a word. It's much harder with adults, but to come into that same vein of not wanting anything other than that attention. This a unique exchange of energy that wasn't there before the individuals were born, that wasn't in the world before you were born. We get so distracted looking and measuring and waiting and wanting to see all the things we want or get, the stuff, the status. It's easy to forget how meaningful our own attention is to the world. The unique beat of our heart wasn't here before you were. The weaving essence of light rays forth from individual to individual to fill the world with truth. Love's blessing, warmth, soul by soul, to call forth gifts from all the worlds and angel beings. They unite with our actions of blessing, with world aims divine. And when we, wielding both, behold ourselves in spirit, man or woman, then light of spirit rays through warmth of soul. We want to start to notice that our attention is that gift from spirit, is that unique part of us. Hug your knees back to center, unwind your legs. And we just do a short banana before Shavasana. A short banana, a little banana, nearly looks like a plantain. You're going to take your left ankle to the left corner of your yoga mat and hook your right ankle over. Stretch your arms over your head, pulling your right arm to the left. Take a nice full inhale, filling this whole shape with air. And then with your exhale, maybe sigh it out to feel your body drop into it. And then wiggle yourself back to center. Take your right heel to the right corner of your yoga mat. Hook your left ankle over it. Stretching your left arm to the right. Take a full big inhale, and with your exhale, settle into the pose. And then straighten yourself out for Shavasana. Feel the solidness of the floor hold you. Do you want extra warmth in your feet today? That's what's going to happen. With your next inhale, invite your breath to the edges of your body. Notice your attention goes with your breath. Maybe wiggle your fingers and your toes, maybe smile. And then stretch long with your inhale, reaching your arms over your head, stretching your arms away from your feet. And with your exhale, curl into a ball, maybe rolling onto your side before coming into a comfortable seated position. Allow your hands to meet at heart center. Lift up tall. Close your eyes. Empty your breath first. And let's take an inhale together. Bring your prayer hands to your third eye. Invite the divine light. And as we bow forward, together we say, Namaste. And so much love. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah. Thank you, Pear. Thank you, Sabine. Thank you, y'all.